was working over at Central Giant. Everyone is coming to look at this thing. Whoa! This thing takes some mental concentration to figure it out. This is a jockey riding his own tongue. It is no more than that. That's what it is. To give an intellectual reading on this, I have to get off. This is obviously a cartoon. And the family of cartoons that this thing came out of is from an artist back in the 30s and 40s named Basil Wolverton. Right? Basil Wolverton did the most ridiculous stuff in the world. And he was in Mad Comics, and which later turned into Mad Magazine. And when I got involved with Zap Comics, Robert Crumb took up Basil Wolverton's style, and of course I was poisoned by it too. And I mean poisoned, because if you just showed this in formal art school, it's a joke, you know. It's well done. I said, well, it ain't pop art. Pop art's appropriation. This is a thing on its own. This poor thing is on its own, you know. But I'm not here. You know, you just have to make of it what you can. Right? But it is raw imagination. Right? It's biomorphic. You know, it's exaggerated. And now, is it humor? It's silly. You know, doesn't have a punchline. You know, but, I mean, painting. I've got undercolor on the paints. You know, just like a Renaissance painter. You know. Now, this thing. There's a lot of weight sitting on that spindly little tube there. There's a lot of steel going through this thing, holding it up. And that rod there is a torsion bar off a sprint car, a race car, and you ain't going to bend that rod. But I had a machinist that did nothing but make torsion bars for monster trucks and race cars and NASCARs, make that rod just for this thing to hold it up. It goes into a steel frame, and it goes all the way up through it. Now the jockey, this thing will come apart. The head will break loose and come apart. And the jockey is held on with very powerful magnets. But it all had to be engineered. You know, you wonder, what's going to be the destiny of this thing? You know, it's going to end up in front of a Taco Bell? Well, fortunately there are a handful of intelligent collectors that see virtue in this. And believe me, they're on their own. They're on their own when they buy this thing, you know. But there is an intelligent market that sees virtue in this. So I am very grateful for my supporters. As you see, the rest of the paintings here, most of them over here are done in real tight style. That's 3 coats of paint. And it's done just like a Renaissance painter would do. It's on linen. You know, the paintings over there are done with loose wash, and they're painted on jute. Jute is burlap. Now, people dealing in an art market don't want to discuss how long something will last. Jute is burlap, and it'll probably last 80 years. Gauguin painted on jute. Of course, all that stuff had to be backed after time. So you got about an 80-year call on that before you have to do something with it. Okay? The cotton paintings look over there. They got about a 400-year life if you keep them out of the weather, keep them dry. And this is old Belgian linen. Now, finest Belgian linen money can buy. Now, no one knows how long that'll last because they know the mummies were wrapped in linen, and that's 4,000 years ago. So if you don't poke it, leave it out in the weather, that's going to last a long time. And that's done with the finest paints money can buy, and you know, that's fussy. That's fussy art. But the situation is the subject matter. How sophisticated is the subject matter? Well, we've got a shortcoming there. As I said earlier, that's been disregarded until I have this freedom. And if you take sophistication out of the art formula, out of the art equation, you have such a giant playing field of imagination. You have this enormous infinity of what your mind can do if you just erase sophistication. Now, if you're not placating an audience. Now, when you in the art market and you're at an expensive gallery, and I've been in some pretty fussy galleries in New York, the ideal gallery situation is this. Keep the stuff dry, I mean in subject matter. Simple. And then you're hoping for a continual inflow of nouveau rich people that have just made it big. They're in their 30s, maybe 40s. They're looking for cultural fulfillment. Okay? So you've got a subject matter here, and you give them the attitude, well, if you don't know what this is about, maybe either you should educate yourself or get into some other hobby. But that is the backbone of the art market. This is continually catch these new people that have just made a lot of money that need to be hand-fed. Okay? Well, I'm in trouble here, because you can't be selling cartoons and things like this. You have a hard time saying, well, this is the sophisticated thing that's going to be tomorrow. You know? Yeah, you're on your own with that thing. You know, that thing has a pretty good chance of being out in front of a Taco Bell with a sombrero on. You know? Anyway, I'll walk you around and show you some more stuff. I'd like for you on your own to look at these cases here with my books and magazines and whatnot. You know, and those are some of my influences: hot rod magazines, girly magazines. It is. The far case does have some pornography in it. It's little 8-page Bibles and Tijuana Bibles, but they're closed for the children. So anyway, you get a real good look into how my mind functions as an artist. Okay, well, let me walk on down here a little more.